So the real life situation that I really want to focus on today is the Malaysian airline plane MH370 that was lost while heading to Beijing airport. And none of the passenger was found by 13 May 2019, and this investigation is still happening by the time that this is done. So the disappearance of the plane has raised many theories of what actually happened to it. The lack of information shared to the society as well as information available for the investigators create thousands of theories of this terrible disappearance. Some of the theories sound very realistic, some sound extremely ridiculous, but the majority of them still seem reasonable in their own way. People try to rank all of the theory in order of their probability, but this list are all different due to different people and perspectives and belief. But how do we know which one is the closest theory to the truth? So to explore this implication of knowledge gap that has been created as a result of this real life situation, I will be raining the knowledge question of to what extent is reasoning the most reliable way of knowing and solving mysteries. Airplane MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur and was heading to Beijing airport with 239 people on board, but it never reached its destination. And at 12:14 on March 8th, 2014, the airline lost contact with MH370 close to Phuket Island. Of some of the theory of what actually happened to the plane, including the most likely one and the weirdest one, are incredibly weird, and you would never think that it's possible. But some of the people who came up with this theory have given really strong evidence that this theory actually happened. So they have used reasoning to support their theory. But first, what is reasoning? Reasoning is the action of thinking about something in a logical and sensible way. Some of the evidence were found in the sea, and most of the people are able to classify the evidence as strong or weak. But how do we differentiate between strong and weak evidence? But first, I think we should take a look back at all of the theory and try to evaluate them by looking at the evidence. And while looking at this evidence, there's a few questions that I feel like you should have in your mind. Do the number of people who agree that some is true qualify as evidence? And to what extent does a probability of something happening affect our judgment? If there is a little to no evidence, is there a possibility of the theory being correct? And if there's a little to no evidence, is there a probability of the theory being correct? And can we be certain that that is not false? Can we be certain that the Big Bang theory was true? Or was it just one of the things that scientists made up? And do our belief about different theory or even just theories themselves get affected by our emotion? If there's evidence against the theory, can we be certain that it's false? For example, millions of people still believe that the earth is flat even though it has been proven by NASA. We can see that emotion has a really big impact to our judgment. For example, I will say that the relative and friends of the passenger will want to believe in any theory that gives them a chance to see those people again, and they might create their theory themselves. To include, I will connect my knowledge question to other real life situations. For example, Melinda McCann, a girl who has been missing for 12 years, where millions of dollars had been spent on her investigation on whether or not she still alive or kidnapped. And according to Mirror earlier this year, police requested another year of funding, with the Met asking Home Office for around 300 of MH. 380 has raised many theories. Some of them, for example, that was shut down by North Korea. You start laughing. We make this judgment without even noticing it ourselves, and I conclude that this decision is based on different things and different people. This is mostly based on evidence but also emotion. Because we want to believe in something that is better for the passenger, on what other people agree with, and on the statistic probability of this happening. Theory are used in many different ways in our life. We use it wisely in all science, both natural and human science. Probably the most famous theory in science, the gravity theory. If you look at its history, you can see how it developed over the year based on the new evidence that was introduced. Most of the evidence were result of the experiment. Social scientists also use theory. We can also see how the historian draw the conclusion about what has happened based on the evidence that they have. The older the event is, the less evidence we have, which means that the bigger probability of us not being right. You can see how different history is taught in different country. Thank you.